What's up everyone, we're going to be going through the best NBA player props on Prizepicks today. Now I did want to show you the results from yesterday's picks from my exclusive Discord group, and as you guys see we actually got 17 picks correct, which was absolutely insane. So we're on a huge hot streak, but if you want to get 17 picks right like me, win more bets, or receive the best picks from some of the best bettors in the world for less than a cup of coffee, you can access the exclusive Discord and meet some of the best sport bettors in the game by joining my Patreon, should be linked down below in the description. Once you join, you'll have complete access to the Discord. It can start winning more bets today. So make sure to join my Patreon using the link in the description. And here's one of our members who just signed up and won himself $1,002 just yesterday. Another member who won $320 for the 6th day in a row since joining my Discord. So guys, if you want to win big money like our members, the link will be in the description. So go join the Patreon to have access to the Discord group. And I will be continuing to upload every single day on this channel the best bets and props. So make sure to subscribe so you don't miss my daily upload. Alright, so let's get straight into the first pick. And when it comes to these picks, I'm not saying to chuck all of them into a parlay and hope for the best. Pick and choose the ones that you like and the ones that work best for you. So the first pick we're going to be talking about is Tyrese Haliburton for 28.5, and this one is actually for points and assists combo, and this one actually is for less. Now when we look at Tyrese Haliburton, we've actually seen him going the under in 1 out of the last 5 games, and they do face off against none other than the Detroit Pistons. Now we look at the Detroit Pistons, we do see that Detroit Pistons do actually rank when it comes to points allowed 16th, and on top of that, moving on into assists allowed, we see that the Detroit Pistons do rank 6th. So they actually rank very good when it comes to the assist department. However, the reason why we still do like the under for this situation is not just that, but when it comes to Detroit Pistons, they do a really good job, especially against the guard position, at restricting points, assists, and also even rebounds. So Detroit Pistons are really good at restricting guards, especially point guards, which is what Tyrese Haliburton is, and that's why we definitely see him struggling a little bit in this game. Now his average over the last 5 is 27.4. We also saw Tyrese in the last game only get 7 total when it comes to points and assists. Now when it comes to Tyrese, I think Detroit are going to do a fantastic job at slowing him down as much as they can, and I think they will be successful in being able to stop him as early as possible. So for that reason, we definitely do like the under for this one. This one is kind of a great one due to the fact that when we look at what the bookies are saying, the bookies also have him favored for the under as well. So because of those reasons, Tyrese Haliburton 28.5 points and assists for less, I think is a great pick. Again, to the next one, we're going to be talking about Pascal Siakam. So Pascal Siakam, another great player for Indiana Pacers, and this one is for 32.5 points, rebs, and assists, and this one actually is for less. So this one is Tyrese's teammate, and when it comes to Detroit Pistons, like we mentioned before, they do actually rank 16th in points allowed. Assists allowed, they do rank higher, as they rank actually 6, which we talked about, and then rebounds allowed, Detroit Pistons rank high as well, as they rank 4th. So points is only where they are a little bit lower, but Detroit Pistons are a great defensive team. They have some great defenders in that lineup, in the Detroit Pistons actual starting lineup. And on top of that, when we also look at Pascal Siakam, what we also do see, he is a forward, and Detroit Pistons do a fantastic job at restricting points, rebounds, and assists to the forward position, especially power forward, which is what Pascal Siakam does play. Now when we also look at the matchup as well, we have seen that Pascal Siakam's usage rate in all 3 departments hasn't been very convincing enough to us. His average over the last 5 is 32.4, but the times that he has gone on the over, it hasn't really been convincing enough to us. He's only been able to, just make it over by 1 or 2 points, rebounds, or even assists. So it's not really convincing enough to us. We think Pascal Siakam's usage rate as of lately has been a little bit on the lower side. And on top of that, Detroit Pistons not only do a great job at restricting forwards, but they also are a slower paced team, and we tend to see them slow fast paced teams down. So Indiana are a little bit faster, but we do see Indiana going down to Detroit Pistons pace, which actually will lead to less volume from Pascal Siakam and what he usually does see on the regular. So when we look at what the bookies are saying as well, bookies also have in favor for the under, so that worked out in our favor. So all signs really do point towards the under for this one. So for that reason, Pascal Siakam 32.5 points, rebs, and assists for less, I think is a great pick. Now getting into the next one, we're going to be talking about Fred VanVleet. So Fred VanVleet, another great player, and this one is for points, rebs, and assists for 25.5, and this one actually is for less. Now look at Fred VanVleet. We've actually seen him going the under in 3 out of the last 5 games, which is great to see, and they do face off against none other than the Sacramento Kings. So we do like the under for this one. Now when we look at actually Sacramento Kings, we do see a very interesting, sort of stat line. Now Sacramento Kings starting off with points allowed allowed, the Sacramento Kings do rank 18th. On top of that, moving on into assists allowed, we also do see the Kings rank 12th, and then rebounds allowed, the Kings rank 7th. So a little bit of an interesting one there. They actually do rank pretty interesting due to the fact that they do actually rank pretty mid-tier in all three categories. However, a little bit higher in assists and rebounds. And we definitely see someone like Fred VanVleet being, struggling in this matchup due to the fact that Sacramento Kings also do a really, really good job at actually restricting points, rebounds, and assists to the guard position. So because of that, we definitely see someone, like Fred VanVleet struggling in this situation here. We definitely see him going on the under due to the fact that Sacramento Kings do a great job against guards. And on top of that, Fred VanVleet's usage rate has definitely fallen quite a bit. It hasn't really been to our liking. And on top of that, when we also look further, what we also do see is that Fred VanVleet, although he has been going on the under most recently as well, his average over the last 5 is also 24.6. So, under this line or under the line that's designated for him as well. So all signs point towards under for this one. The book is also having favored for the under. So because of those reasons, Fred VanVleet for points, rebounds, and assists for 25.5 for less, I think is a great pick.
So as you all know, I do want to get these picks out to you as soon as possible, but Prizepicks is delayed with some of their lines. So here are a couple of players you should definitely watch out for when their lines drop. So the first player we're going to be talking about is none other than Cade Cunningham. Now Cade Cunningham, great player as we all know for the Detroit Pistons, and himself so far this season has averaged 24.5 points, 6.6 rebounds, 9.4 assists, while also shooting 46% from the field. So he's done an absolute fantastic job for the Detroit Pistons, and when it comes to the Detroit Pistons, they do have themselves a great matchup against the Indiana Pacers. Now, when we look at the matchup against Indiana Pacers, as we all know, the Pacers do rank when it comes to points allowed. Interestingly, they do rank 22nd. On top of that, moving on into assists allowed, we see that the Pacers rank 14th, and then rebounds allowed, the Pacers also do rank 15th. So very mid to low tier in all three categories. And for that reason, we do very much like the over for this situation for someone like Cade Cunningham. Now, Cade has been on an absolute tear as of recent. Now, he has come back from a little bit of an injury as of lately and was able to continue on where he left off when he did get injured earlier on. However, in the most recent game, he had 36 points. The game before that had 17 assists, 10 rebounds, 22 points. So he's been on an absolute tear as of lately. And with an easier team like the Pacers, we should see Cade Cunningham be able to go on the over here. Now, on top of that, when we also look at the matchup between Pistons and Pacers, we are expecting a lot of pace in this game. And for that reason, we do very much like the over for this situation here, due to the fact that we are expecting Cade Cunningham to have quite a lot of volume coming into this matchup. Now, looking even further as well, I definitely would keep an eye out for Cade Cunningham's line. Like I always mentioned, keep an eye out for the line first. If it is under his averages, definitely look to go on the over. So I think there'll be a lot of great value there. Now, getting into the next player, we're going to be talking about Jaylen Williams. So, Jaylen Williams, great player, does play for the Oklahoma City Thunder, and so far this season, he has been averaging 20.6 points, 5.7 rebounds, 5.2 assists, while also shooting 47.8% from the field. So, he's done an absolute fantastic job for Oklahoma City Thunder, and when it comes to OKC, they do have themselves a great matchup against none other than the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now, when we look at OKC and the matchup against Cleveland Cavaliers, we do see that the Cavaliers do rank 11th when it comes to points allowed. On top of that, moving on into assists allowed, we see that they rank 9th, and then rebounds allowed, we see that they rank 16th. So a little bit of an interesting, area for Cleveland. They are the top team, or one of the top teams in the East so far, and because of that, we see them rank a little bit still in that mid-tier. So we definitely see Jaylen Williams still being able to go on the over in this situation here. A big reason being for that is that Cavaliers actually do a really poor job at restricting points, rebounds, and assists to the forward position. So we definitely see someone like Jaylen Williams being able to take advantage of this. Now, when it comes to this matchup between OKC and Cavs, OKC are a little bit of a faster paced team than the Cavaliers. And what we tend to see is that Thunder actually, push the pace of slower teams. So we should actually see Cavaliers go more towards Thunder pace than vice versa. So for that reason, we are expecting the same amount of
pace that we usually see from this Oklahoma City Thunder team, and Jaylen Williams should see the same amount of volume as well in all three categories, whether it's points, rebounds, and assists. Now, Jaylen Williams is coming off a bit of a hot streak as of lately. He has been able to be putting on a show. He's been getting a high usage rate in all three departments, and we think it will continue on into this next game, no doubt about it. So for that reason, keep an eye out for Jaylen Williams. I see a lot of value there to go on the over, especially if the line is under his averages. Now, getting to the next player, we're going to be talking about Devin Booker. So Devin Booker has been averaging 25.2 points, 4 rebounds, 6.9 assists, while also shooting 44% from the field. So he's done a fantastic job for the Phoenix Suns, and the Phoenix Suns do have themselves an interesting matchup against none other than the Washington Wizards. Now, we look at the Washington Wizards, we do see that they rank 30th when it comes to points allowed. They rank 26th when it comes to assists allowed, and then 30th when it comes to rebounds allowed. So a little bit of an interesting one there. When it comes to Devin Booker, he is a fantastic player, but on top of anything else, a big reason why we do very much like the over is that Washington Wizards just rank very, very low in all categories. Okay, we have seen Devin Booker have such a high usage rate in the points department as of lately. He's had 4 out of the last 5 games scoring over 30, so he's been putting on an absolute show. If we look at even his most recent game against Atlanta, who do also rank low in all 3 categories, he had 35 points, 5 rebs, 5 assists. So he's able to really take advantage of poor defensive teams, and we definitely see that being the case coming into this Washington Wizards matchup. When it comes to the Wizards, they aren't the greatest team defensively, and on top of that, they are also a pretty fast-paced team, so we should see a lot of volume when it comes to Devin Booker coming into this matchup, which is another reason why we do very much like the over for this one. So I definitely would keep an eye out for Devin Booker. I see a lot of value there to go on the over. Now, whether you need to focus on points, rebounds, and assists, I really wouldn't suggest to focus on any one of them, due to the fact that I think Booker is not going to have any problem being able to go on the over on these lines. But if there was more to focus on, I think points and assists, due to the fact that he does have a higher usage rate in both of those departments. But I definitely see just still a great game coming for Devin Booker into this matchup against the Washington Wizards.